in Iraq? Well, you know, what's happened in this country is, and this is unfortunately been mainstreamed for us by the Christian right, is that we speak about Muslims in a way that I think we could not speak about any other minority or ethnic group in this country. I spent 7 years in the Middle East. I spent 600 hours of my life studying Arabic. I mean, you know, Islam or the Muslim world constitute 1/5 of the world's population, most of whom, by the way, are not Arab. And the statements of ignorance and racism that are routinely put out against Muslims are ones that I think are very much fueled by the Christian right, which has demonized Islam, and to our own detriment. You know, what radical movements do, just as radical Islamists, I mean, the radical Islamists, of course, are in many ways the mirror image of the Christian right. What they do is destroy the moderate center of their own societies. And the Christian right is working as hard to destroy the moderate center of our society, just as Islamic radicals are working hard to destroy the moderate center of their society, which is the majority, by the way, the vast majority. I mean, I lived in Egypt. I lived 7 years and traveled all throughout the Middle East. And what you're left with, which is what happened in the Balkans, are these two apocalyptic extremes who need each other. You know, Milosevic needed Tudjman, and Tudjman needed Milosevic. You know, one of the most interesting and disturbing things that we saw when we covered conflicts when they began is that the first people to be killed were not the radical members of the opposing ethnic group, because they need them. They need them to instill fear within your ethnic group. They were the members within your ethnic group who still reached out to the Muslims in the community, who still went over and had coffee with them, who still would visit the imam in the mosques. They were the first people to end up with a bullet through their head in the ditch, because they showed people another way to be, another way to speak, and another way to act, a way to hold together community. Those are the first people that get destroyed, and they get destroyed by their own.
Is there a fatwa from the Christian right on you now?
Not yet. No, I think that you know, the fringe element of this movement is frightening, and I think part of the reason people are hesitant to speak out about them is because people who come out of Christian Identity, Operation Rescue, and let's not forget about Blackwater and Eric Prince, the creation of America's Praetorian Guard, which is underway in Iraq right now. 25,000 American mercenaries. Eric Prince is a charter member of the radical Christian right, secretive, multimillionaire figure. What happened when Hurricane Katrina struck? Blackwater figures in black uniforms with automatic weapons and wraparound sunglasses showed up on the streets of New Orleans. What happens when there's a catastrophic terrorist attack in Washington and they throw this Praetorian Guard on the streets of Washington? Not accountable to anyone, outside of legal constraints. Look at what Christian Embassy is doing and other radical Christian groups are doing in the Pentagon. They're taking over all the chaplaincies. At least 50% now have fealty to non-denominational figures within the Christian right, and that's a form of indoctrination. It's a way of preaching to the military that their loyalty is to this Christo-fascist ideology and not to the democratic state. And in a moment of crisis, you know, when I travel to these megachurches, they are completely isolated from the community that they exist in. They don't reach out to other denominations. They don't reach out to the public schools. They could care less about the local officials. The only two groups they ever reach out to are law enforcement and the military. And that was a pattern that I kept seeing repeated in megachurch after megachurch after megachurch. U.S. Marine Corps Appreciation Day, State Trooper Sunday. And they would bring these people in and laud them for their Christian probity. And they know very well what they're doing. That those forces of coercion within a society are absolutely fundamental if any radical movement is going to succeed. Thank you.
That was Chris Hedges on American Fascists, the Radical Christian Right. He spoke at the Boulder Bookstore in Boulder, Colorado on January 22, 2007. Chris Hedges, a veteran foreign correspondent, is the author of American Fascists, The Christian Right and the War on America. This program is produced by Alternative Radio, an unembedded award-winning weekly series based in Boulder, Colorado. AR is independent. Our sole source of financial support comes directly from listeners just like you. AR features such voices as Bill Moyers, Howard Zinn, George Lakoff, Amy Goodman, Noam Chomsky, and Gore Vidal. To access our vast audio catalog and to find out about subscribing to AR, go to our website, alternativeradio.org. Again, our website, alternativeradio.org. To place a credit card order for a CD, MP3, tape, or written transcript of the program you just heard, Chris Hedges on American Fascists, call us toll-free at 1-800-444-1977. Again, that toll-free number is 1-800-444-1977. Or you can order on our secure website, alternativeradio.org. That's alternativeradio.org. Thanks to the Boulder Bookstore and to Martin Folker for recording assistance. Allie Lightfoot edited the program. Series theme music is performed by the Kronos Quartet from Pieces of Africa. I'm David Barsamyan. Thank you for listening.